So welcome back to DC Silver Age Storytime, and today's story is from Action Comics 254, published in July 1959 with story by Otto Binder and art by Jim Mooney. Only recently, Supergirl arrived on Earth in a space rocket, just as Superman himself did years ago. But unlike her famous cousin, who was secretly adopted as a child, the Girl of Steel remains an orphan. But one day she is chosen to live in a new home with foster parents. Will they turn out as loving and trustworthy as Mom and Dad Kent did for Clark? Will the girl from Krypton meet happiness or sorrow with Supergirl's foster parents? So Linda Lee is out there, and she's looks to be daydreaming and staring off into space, but instead she spots a rocket that is crashing. So she flies up and pushes it back into its scheduled flight, and then gives a little wink to the reader. A couple of prospective parents come in, and Linda Lee decides to turn them off by burning her meal that she's making. But the father says, "Why? How wonderful! It's charred on the outside, like a charcoal broiled roast. We like it that way. We want you all the more for being a good cook, Linda." She says, "My plan boomeranged." So the reason she doesn't want to get adopted is because she feels it's too soon. She's still kind of learning her way. And the biggest problem is the fact that she believes that whatever parents adopt her will figure out that she's superpowered. So she finds out that they work at a circus. "Dad, Mom, you mean that tent is your home? And you put on a sideshow?" Yeah, so they're going to do a strong girl act with Linda Lee, which is obviously quite ironic. And he says, "I play the role of Colonel Dale to entertain the crowd." And he has fake props to give the impression of strength when she's actually just normal, except that, of course, she is incredibly strong. But this pair is con artists. They are selling power tonic and tricking people into thinking that she is legitimately strong. So this fellow comes up to try and lift this gimmicked barbell, but he can't do it because there is a magnet hidden down below the platform. At this point, Linda Lee thinks it's just an act, so she helps out by turning off the magnet and then lifting the barbell. And next, she shows how she can punch through a brick wall, but again, it is gimmicked. They have a tuning fork that shoots out supersonic sound waves and shatter the bricks. Then she is going to be shown pulling an elephant, but behind the rope there is a very difficult to see wire. She says, "The baffled crowd doesn't see this invisible wire at my end of the rope. The elephant is really being pulled by a winch and a silent electric motor." "You did fine, Linda. Now come, I'll show the rest of the circus." So she rushes Linda off, but when Linda turns around, she sees that he is now taking the opportunity, her foster father, to sell the power tonic. "My daughter gained her super strength by drinking this power tonic every day for 1 month. It's made from an ancient Indian formula. Drink it, and it will give you the same power, folks." And so she's sad. "My foster parents only adopted me so that I could help them swindle people." Sob. "I've got to think of a way to teach them a lesson and make them give the money they've taken from their victims." So next she spots her foster father. This is at night, getting his load of power tonic from a chemist. And it is nothing but sugared water flavored with ginger. So at first I was like, well, why the hell does he need a chemist to make sugar water with flavored with ginger? But there is an explanation, although it's kind of weak. So then she does another heroic rescue. I don't know why they add these into the stories. They really add nothing to it, so it's a little bit weird. So she's walking along with her foster parents, and all of a sudden the elephant trips on he steps into a hole, and he's going to crush the folks. "Great guns, the elephant stumbled in a hole. He'll fall on us. We'll be crushed. Help." Well, I tell you, if you have that much time to announce that the elephant is going to fall, I feel like you'd have time to get out of the way. But Linda Lee lifts the elephant into the air. I'll be forced to confess that I'm secretly Supergirl and have superpowers like my cousin Superman. But they just assume that it is the power tonic, and it's actually worked. The power tonic. She found a bottle by mistake. Okay, so she does say that she thinking quick. I'm sorry. They don't assume it. She quickly decides she's going to pretend like she drank the power tonic. So he drinks some too, and then finds that he can bend these bars, whereas actually she's using her X-ray vision to soften the steel up for him, which I would think would render the steel super hot, but apparently not. So he goes. The foster parent goes to the chemist. Here, I'll pay you all my money for the new formula you stumbled on for the power tonic. Well, if you insist, here's the formula. So this is where it gets really silly. That is not the chemist. That's the money he swindled out of the customers for his fake tonic. He didn't know I swiftly made a puppet of the chemist. I made it seem to talk as puppet of the chemist. Disguising my voice and using a super ventriloquism, a fake phone call lured the real chemist away. So, man, she went to a lot of work too. But I guess she's Supergirl. This is when she becomes basically just like a genie. I can't bend this bar after drinking a tonic made from the chemist's formula. He sold us a phony formula, keeping the real one, which Linda and I drank before for himself. But if we demand our money back, he can tell the cops how we sold people fake tonic. Good, now Dale will never know how I tricked him. With my super memory, I recall the face of every person who bought the power tonic. Another victim lives in this house. My super breath will blow his money into the window as if by sheer luck. I don't know, I feel like losing their money might be a kind of a good lesson. I don't imagine they lost that money, but she is pure goodness. You say the Dales lost all their money, then they can't support an adopted child. I'll tear up the adoption proceedings. And she literally does. To hell with keeping records. I'm an orphan again, but maybe someday I'll find foster parents who are really trustworthy. Sigh.